What is your greatest rated R achievement? I'd broken up with a boyfriend and then a period hit when my housemate was gone overseas for a little while. Two guys a few years older than, they were about 24, me were needing somewhere to crash and stay for a little while. I wasn't hugely close to them but I'd known them by name and simple conversation in general social groups for a couple of years. I offered them space to crash if they were tidy and agreed to contribute money for food and utilities used. The three of us ended up getting on well, connecting over video games, similar TV tastes. All three of us grew up in a church cult coincidentally. Eventually, the three of us ended up talking while very intoxicated. Turned out they had their V cards. We opened up to each other and talked about intimate frustration, singledom and the general wonder of anxiety released through busting. They and I ended up agreeing, for reasons that seemed logical at the time, that, while we were living together and single, we'd use each other for intimacy as an emotion dump. It started very organized, like, let's share a bed tonight with a request from them of what they want to try, or be taught, or instruction from me of, okay, we'll bed together tonight, I'll show you how to X. But, over time, it became more spontaneous, closer to one of them being in the house, finding me and saying, Jesus, I'm crawling out of my skin. Can I borrow you for a while when you have some time? However it happened, the general rule was that, while we were agreeing that such honest requests were okay, you were not allowed to just expect access to someone else if they were busy. We were also people living in a house, after all. One evening I was in my bedroom. I think both guys had had a pretty bad day and they were both playing video games by then, but they both sounded aggravated, yelling at the TV. Unusually loud and angry for them. Sound stopped for a bit, and I heard what sounded like pacing and maybe console packing up. Loud footsteps came down to my bedroom door until the door opened. One of the guys looked in at me with a stone-faced expression on and asked in a monotone, "Are you busy?" I replied with a simple no and stood up to talk about whatever was wrong. Both immediately strode in. There was no conversation. They were both dropping their undies while marching in a way I don't think seasoned workers could ever accomplish. "This is an emergency," said the first guy, again in monotone, while I'm lifted and positioned on the bed in a second. Without going into crass detail, what followed went on for a while. There was no chit-chat. No instruction this time. Not even a simple, "Dude, how about I do X and you do Y?" Communication. Nothing. They both maneuvered me in eerie silent unison. I don't think either of us made a sound the entire time. It's like they'd entered some kind of frustrated hive mind that didn't require vocal cords. And they were flawless at it. Whatever had happened, there wasn't a pause or a gap in their plan or execution. In the quietness after it was all over, I remember part of me feeling so proud of them, in a funny way. The young apprentices had become Jedi Knights.